Happy Monday, everyone. Hope you're having a fabulous week. Uh, Happy Remembrance Day. Take a moment to just think about that. My grandpa fought in World War One, long, long time ago. He wasn't 18. He lied on his paperwork so he could get in and do that. So I think about him at this time of year. But I also want to talk about other people that have fought in the wars. Some great art documentaries, and they talk about the wars a lot, of course. It seems to be going on forever, those wars. Yeah. But some of my favorite art documentaries, of course, are related to the group of seven. One is called The Painted Land, In Search of the Group of Seven. Fantastic. And I can't remember how many of the group actually fought in the war, quite a few of them. I won't go into details about that right now, but yeah, check that one out for sure. And then there are some specific art documentaries regarding some of the members of the group. One was a documentary called West Wind, and it is about Tom Thompson. They show a lot of his work. And of course, they also go into the mystery surrounding his death, because no documentary can talk about Tom Thompson without talking about his untimely early death, and what a loss it is to this country and the world that we don't have more Tom Thompson paintings out there because he died at such a young age. But one of my favorite documentaries of all time is called Where the Universe Sings, and it is all about Lawren Harris. He spells his name different, Lawren, Lawren Harris, Where the Universe Sings. And I happen to be one of the lucky few who has the very large book that accompanies that documentary, and it's the book by the same title. And I believe it's out of print now, but it is a wonder. And I love the documentary because it talks a lot about some of the episodes in his life, like living in Taos, New Mexico, and how that changed his art. And it talks about him divorcing his first wife, and it was at a time when divorcing was very much frowned upon, and he was exiled from Toronto for doing such a blasphemous thing. So, yeah, when he left Toronto, he went down to New York and went to New Mexico. And eventually, when the war broke out, he had to go back to Canada. And that is how he wound up in Vancouver. A lot of things that many people are unaware of. So, definitely worthwhile checking out. Another one of my favorite Canadian painters, as many of you know, Emily Carr. There's a great documentary about her called Winds of Heaven. And I really like it because they quote her very often throughout. And she was an avid writer as well as a painter. So she has got a lot of great quotes about the forest and getting connected to the forest and the movement in the forest. And just so eloquent. So I highly recommend that one. And for that same reason, I also recommend the documentary on Ansel Adams called A Documentary Film. Ansel Adams, a documentary film, released in 2002. And it was through that film that I became infatuated with Ansel Adams' work. And it also has some fantastic quotes from Ansel, because he also was a magnificent writer and a teacher. And so it is well worth hearing his views on art and life and the mountains. Of course, he painted in Yosemite, and there were so many beautiful sceneries. And he talked about the one painting he took down in New Mexico of a graveyard when the sun was just setting, and how he just managed to get his camera out in the nick of time before the light changed. And he captured this most magnificent, once in a lifetime view. Yeah, it's well worth watching. And another fascinating documentary, I believe it's on Prime, called Finding Vivian Mayer. Her last name is spelled Maier. And again, she's a photographer that was very under the radar, unknown during her lifetime. And it wasn't until after her life that some young man purchased an estate sale, and there was an unnamed box of film, and discovered these amazing photographs that she had taken throughout her life. So fascinating to see her eye and her uncanny personality. Very intriguing documentary. And I spoke last week about Georgia O'Keeffe, the movie, and there is a fabulous documentary regarding her. My favorite one on her is called The Painter of the Far Away. So can't talk about documentaries without talking about Georgia. And again, she was very well spoken, very well spoken, very well versed, just an intellect, fascinating woman. I highly recommend that one. And if you go on the knowledgenetwork.ca, I'm not sure if you are out of Canada, if you are able to stream these documentaries, but they have a lot of fabulous docs. One is called Landscape as Muse, and every episode's about a different artist. And one of my favorite ones of that series was on Dempsey Bob, who is an Indigenous carver. Very fabulous. And I loved hearing him speak about art. And all of these artists have such a different take on it, and they're so passionate and have such insight into where that creative spark comes from. I highly recommend them. And so then, of course, on the Knowledge Network, they also have shows on the Impressionists, which is great. Mona Lisa. Just go and indulge in some art history, and it will be worth your while for sure. So many, I just can't tell you how often these are my favorites that I've mentioned here, and I've watched them repeatedly. As I said, I love to hear the perspective of these fantastic artists in their own words. You guys get to hear my own words every week, every Monday. But their words are so much more eloquent than I am even being right here. Passion for art, where the spark comes from, how to get in touch with that spark, how to create great things, to be in tune with nature. All of that is so vital to be an artist. So watch as many documentaries as you can. Get a real feel for it. Just indulge. And I would really like to hear about your favorite art documentaries. If I have missed any that you've watched in recent times or past times, please do let me know. What is your favorite art documentary? I am always up for learning. We can always learn new things, and I am anxious to hear what your feedback is. If you've also got some great art movies that I did not mention last week, please pass them on to me in the comments here, because I know my viewers will be very anxious to watch. So please keep us posted, and we'll just keep sharing and sharing. All right. I hope you have a great week, and I'm going to go finish off my painting that's on my easel behind me on this cloudy, snowy day here in Kimberley. So I will see you at the same time, same place next week. Thanks for tuning in and for watching. Okay, bye.